Bienvenido, welcome, I'm Oni Boi, your favorite hobby tourist. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. You know, I love starting every single day, doing my dailies. You know, I get up early, make some breakfast. I guess normally I wake up early and I'll work a little bit, but today wasn't one of those days. Today was like, I woke up not as early as I usually do. So I made breakfast, took my daughter to school, ran some errands, and then I get to hang out with you guys, which is always a highlight for me. I always love it. It is really nice. And right now we're going to continue doing a doodle, which actually thinking about, I just realized I didn't set up my screen or the setup. Hold up. Let me fix that for you guys. Hold up. I'm almost there. Just bear with me. Because I like putting this one, which is like a full screen. You know what I mean? Hey, story, welcome in. I just started, literally just a moment ago. I just realized I forgot to set this up. But it is set up now, so it's all good. How's your day been? I want to see those 3 emojis, okay? 1, 2, 3 emojis describing how your day has been. Maybe something you're really excited about. Hey, you got an announcement. Wait, I got the notification. Oh, you got the notification. Cool. I played pickleball today. Ooh, that's cool. I haven't played pickleball in, I don't remember the last time I played pickleball. It must have been like years. Like not even, I don't think I've ever played with my daughter. So it must have been years. I probably played with like my nephew or my niece, and that was like a long time ago, I'm pretty sure. Like more than 10 years, I'm gonna say. More than 10 years the last time I played pickleball. How was it though? Was it a good experience? Was it a bad were you like losing the whole time? Were you having fun? Usually that's how I measure things. Like if I had fun, then it was good. I don't really care if I win or lose. Like I remember years ago, my buddy, a friend, like my best friend pretty much, he had a roommate who loved tennis, and I remember playing with him. I lost horribly, but I enjoyed myself. I thought it was really fun. Let's say I played with my dad today. My mom runs a clubhouse and it has a pickleball event. Ooh, it rained, so I didn't play much. Aw, that's a bummer. I mean, well, at least, like if you played and you enjoyed yourself, that's okay. But if it rained, I guess that is kind of a bummer. I'm sorry. So you didn't get to play as much as you wanted. So then that's a good thing, because that means you were enjoying yourself if you were actually bummed out about the rain. That's awesome though. Like that's like one thing I would love to play. Like what was it? Not that long ago, we did play ping pong. I played ping pong with my daughter. It was like actually her first time playing ping pong, and she really enjoyed it. And I was like, that's awesome. I would love to play again. Hopefully in the near future we could play again since she actually enjoyed it. So where was I? Oh, I was still in the sketchy phase. It's fine. I had to play after taking a bath, which I didn't really want. No, that's funny story. You're not a bath person, or you're more of a shower or bath then? I'm not like a huge person, but I am like kind of like that awkward size where it's like I'm big enough where certain things are uncomfortable. So taking a bath in like a normal tub, it is a little annoying. If it's like a big, like one of those like jacuzzi ones, oh yeah, I'd love to. But if it's like a regular one, like no thank you. I'm kind of like uncomfortable in like a small one. So I could totally understand being uncomfortable. Like, nah, I don't want to. So the showers usually just go faster. Where was I? Oh, I was going to do the pencil, right? We were going to pencil in some stuff. Yeah, let's do the chair. If you haven't noticed, I'm not like a big fan of, what's it called? Of, like hard design, hard drawings like these. Like hard surface, that's what I mean. Oh no, I didn't want to play after taking a bath is what I meant. Oh, okay. Oh, that's not a big deal. If you're enjoying yourself, who cares? But I get what you mean. Like after taking a bath, you didn't want to play because you were like, oh, I'm gonna get sweaty. I get that. I do get that too. I don't know if you're in a hot place, but I am in like a hot place, and I remember once. I haven't done this in a while, but I remember once I took a shower right in the morning because I want to refresh myself. And then I ended up like sweating like crazy, took another shower because I didn't think I was going to leave. I think that day I took 4 showers in the day just because I kept thinking we were not gonna leave and we kept going out again. And I was like, and every time I'd go out, I sweat like crazy. Nightmare was killing it though. I heard they even wow. Okay, so they were like intense. Your neighbor must be like really good or super into it. That's awesome though. That's cool though. I like it. You guys must have had so much fun. Wait, I'm like looking at this. Is this even how it looks? Hold on, let me look at this. No, it's not. Now that I look at that is not how it looks. Oh, I was like, wait, I'm like doing this, but I'm not even sure if that looks this way. It does not at all look like this. The only part that is like round is like not round. These are round. This is flat. That's flat. So like these will be flat. You know? This is like a plank, and then this is like a round. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool though that they I mean a little intense that they broke the ball. But it still like sounds like you guys had fun. So I'm like looking kind of like this. So this one goes like this, right? Yeah, something like that. We're obviously building it out. This is actually more rigid than I originally thought when I looked at it. Right? I didn't realize these are just straight. These are just straight sticks in the back. He's 18 and a golfer. He hits more holes and won my clubhouse history. He has 30 trophies. Wow, that's very impressive. Very cool. So is your neighbor, is he planning on doing like golf as a career or just like a fun hobby? Because I know I've met plenty of people who were like athletes. You know, like that was their goal. Or like I remember when I remember knowing someone who was an actual Olympian. Like he actually participated in the Olympics. And I was like, that's cool. They were like, obviously they did it when they were way younger. And I was like, that's so neat. It's such a cool thing. But I met like a few people who want to do like sports or whatever. Like my nephew, he is very good at volleyball. He's still in volleyball, but he's not like a professional. He's a coach. I'm not sure, but I think it was more of a hobby. Okay, so it's more of a hobby. That's okay. Like I said, like I know my nephew, for example, he plays volleyball, but he's a volleyball coach, and like right now. But I did ask him if he was like considering going pro, and he said realistically no, just because like he knows it's not. I feel like he could have done it, if I'm being honest, if he actually pursued it. But he said it was like one of those things, like it was very difficult, and even if he did make it, it's not like one of those sports that makes a lot of money. That's what he was telling me. Like realistically, even if he did become a professional, it's not like he'd be set for life. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand what you mean. Like he still plays. Yeah. I've actually met 2 Olympians. You know, in my life, I met 2 Olympians. One, which was like a family friend. He was okay. Like I didn't mind him. Family friend. He was in the Olympics when he was younger. He did like I don't think he won. They didn't win that year. It's still cool though. He participated in the Olympics. I was like, that's awesome. And then I met a coach. I met a coach who was in the Olympics. He was an Olympic runner. That was a long time ago now. Like now that I think about it, that was like a long time. I was like in middle school, but they were in the Olympics. I remember they had pictures and stuff when they used to participate in the Olympics. I was like, that's so cool. I think they actually did get I think they got bronze. They got like bronze in like a track and field or something. They look so cool. No, I mean like, see, I wouldn't say I'm a sporty person, but I used to be a martial arts teacher. I used to teach martial arts when I was younger. I mean, like, I sound like I'm an old man. But when I was a lot younger, my first job was martial arts. I was teaching martial arts to like kids and stuff like that. And I did have a lot of fun doing that. I never got like I didn't want to do it as like a sport though. like a professional sport. I never got to that point. I did have friends though who actually did try to be UFC fighters. They actually did like actual fights and everything. I'm not even joking. They did actual fights. Yeah, same. I'm a black belt. I'm a second degree. I'm a second degree black belt in Kempo karate. That is the one I learned. But I did more of the self-defense one. The teacher I had, he wasn't American, but he actually grew up in Japan. So like the martial arts, the style he learned was a little more based on self-defense. So it wasn't like a sport style, because there's differences. There's sport style, there's traditional, there's self-defense. He taught the self-defense style. All right, so this one. So that was the one I learned. I learned the one for self-defense. All right, okay, on this side, I'm going to move this thing, the reference. Oh no, actually, let's continue doing this one. UFC is kind of scary though. Low, I don't really prefer heavy fighting sports. Streamer be like, right, Blue Shell. I mean, I've definitely hurt myself and hurt other people fighting back in the day. It doesn't say a lot of my friends, though. I had a lot of friends that did some, not UFC. UFC's like a very high level of fighter. But I met a few UFC fighters. I even trained with a few a little bit, but they weren't like my friends. You know, I got to spar with, what's his name? Frank Shamrock. That was pretty cool. And I also met Tito Ortiz, but he wasn't very nice. You know, he didn't really like care about us. No, I know, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I did meet Tito Ortiz. I remember. He didn't really care. Like he just said, like, yeah, I don't care. Does not surprise me. Yeah. But Frank Shamrock was super nice, and I did get to spar with him. That was really fun. I did get to spar with him, but that was the only ones I got to. My parents met the president of our country once. Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool. I don't think I've met, I guess like if I really think about it, I've met some random people before, but nothing like that. No presidents. Oh, you know what's actually something really funny? I remembered, because now you said a president. Once, I remember I was on the beach. This is years ago, okay? I was on the beach, and then like there were all these securities telling us to leave the beach, and we're like, wait, what is going on? Right? They were like, oh, they were telling us to leave the beach, and we're like, okay, what's going on? And they were like these people with like Secret Service people, and this was in a different country, and apparently it was the son of the president in that country we were on vacation. He was going to that beach, and so they removed us from the beach. I was like, that's kind of funny. Never caught one of those art streams. What are we making? Oh, yeah, we're doing this. Splatoon, the Squid sisters. It was Flopix. Flopix suggested it. Accompanying her action. Oh, that is actually really cool, Starry. That is actually really cool. They personally accompanied you. Or accompanied her. That's cool. But no, like usually, so if you're curious, Blue Shell, what I do for the art streams, I'll show you. One moment. So I'll do this. So I have like a little roulette. So the roulette, how you get your name, how do you get whatever you want on the roulette, is you go to the Discord. You join the Discord. In the Discord, you put a suggestion, whatever we draw, right? And then I put it on the wheel and I spin it. You know, I spin the wheel, whatever falls on, that's what I end up drawing. It's just like a fun thing. You know, it's like, that is actually really funny. The Wheel of Doom, kind of. But yeah, I just spin it around and it lands on whatever it is. And that's what we draw. See, there we go. We got Doodle Ghost, Angel. But like, yeah, next time, we will see what we get. And then also, sometimes I will stream my game. Because I'm working on a video game. I'm working on an action-adventure video game, heavily inspired by Caribbean mythology. You go island to island helping people and creatures, and the creatures help you out too. So like I'm also working on that, and sometimes I'll stream that. Usually I'll stream it in between the drawings. So I'll be done with, when I'm done with this drawing, I'll stream my game, and then I'll do another doodle one. That's usually how I do it. In the near future, I might be changing. We never know. I don't know. I don't know yet when, but hopefully in the near future, I might be doing more of me working on my game. I'm not super familiar with Splatoon universe outside of the Smash characters. Oh, I get you. No, it's fun. I streamed Splatoon 3 not that long ago. You know, we actually got a lot of people from when I started playing Splatoon. A lot of people joined in, and I was like, hey, hello. So like that's like the fun thing about that. By playing different games, because I love games. I love them. It's one of those things. Obviously, I'm making my own game. Obviously, I love games. Since I love games, I will play different kinds. You know, people have asked me if I'll play like certain games. I'm like, well, some yes, some no. For me, for the most part, I like action. I like adventure games. I like turn-based. I tend to play things that are a little more family friendly. I'm not a big fan of like creepy stuff. You know, I have played creepy stuff before. But like when I think about it, it's like, that's not really my vibe. You know what I mean? You know, like, yeah, I don't really like, it's not my thing. Yes, I do play Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I mean, literally the game I'm working on is inspired by Pokemon in a big part. You know, because like pretty much the game I'm working on is imagine Pokemon, but well, I guess it's more like Zelda. It's imagine Zelda, like Zelda mixed with Pokemon, but in the Caribbean. It's all based on Caribbean mythology. That's the game I'm working on. Just like if you're curious, I do have her right here. I don't know if you're on like this character right here. She's actually from my game. It's a 3D game, but this is like a 2D drawing of her. Unless if you're on the portrait. Bakugan? Oh, have I played Bakugan? The little marbles? I was already a little older when that came. I've seen a little bit of the anime, and it's neat. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I never played the game. Never played it. Wait, I'm like looking at this. Wait, I'm like trying to like imagine. Hold up. Am I gonna be able to see that? Like I know I did this line, right? We did this line, but I'm looking at it. It was like 2 reboots to the anime. No, I know. I did watch one of them. I don't think I've seen the newest stuff. I haven't seen the newest stuff for sure. Definitely not. I think it's like this because we're above. So we should hold up. I'm like trying to like imagine how this is gonna look. Oh, maybe I guess. No, we would be able to see the top. We would be able to see the top. I was like very confused for a moment. I should be able to see some of it. But no, I don't know which one I saw. I know I saw some of it when I think around the time Bakugan came out, I was already older. It's that bad? Okay. I didn't know it was that bad. I don't think I've seen the newest one. Yeah, I doubt I've seen the newest one. But if it's like that new, I don't think so. I do remember seeing a YouTuber that I follow. I don't know if you know him. Is Jet Kuso. That guy, Jet Kuso. He does like videos like usually like toy reviews and stuff like that. And I do remember him talking about the new Bakugan toys, not the anime though. That guy's cool. I like him. I like a lot of art stuff. Because people ask me, like, oh, have you seen this YouTuber? I'm like, not really. They lack personality. Oh, that's a bummer. That's such like a big thing, I feel. You know, that's such a huge part of characters, why you like characters, certain characters and whatnot. You need the personality. If they don't got personality, then why do you want to follow them? It's same with villains. You know, like I remember I've talked to people about this before, like having conversations and like saying if the villain is not cool, then who cares if the hero beats them? You need a cool villain, you know? Cool heroes are great. You need it, but you need a good villain, a good like antagonist, someone to go against the hero. And then, I don't know if you've heard like there's like a saying with like villains and stuff. Villains are characters that want to change the world, where heroes react to it. You know what I mean? So like a good villain has to like want to change the world. They're like, oh no, I want to change the world in my image or whatever. And the hero's the ones like, oh no, I gotta fix this. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, if you have like a really lame villain, who cares? So I could imagine like if you're saying like the characters are like lame and boring, ugh. That's like one of those like huge things. Like if you can't like get behind them. I think that's one thing with Splatoon. Splatoon has a lot of personality, you know, but like they have customizable characters. Like when you play the game, you're a customizable character, so you're part of this world. You know what I mean? Where these girls, they're like news anchors, kind of. You know, they're kind of like characters that give you the news in the world. So they're very funny and silly. This one is like, what's it called? She's very bombastic, high personality. Well, this one's a little more mysterious and chill. I'm not like a huge fan on Splatoon. Flopix is usually the one. That's the one that he's like. They're the one that suggested it, so they are very knowledgeable about it. That's why I call myself a hobby tourist, because I love jumping in and being around people who are very passionate about their fandom or whatever. And I'm like, oh, cool. I want to hang out with you and share this love that you have for this. I don't think that there's any particular series or any show or anything where I'm like, oh, I'm obsessed with it. You know, I like being able to join in someone else's stuff. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm really into Splatoon. I'm like, cool. What's it like? Can you give me a little more into this world? I'm like, yeah. And then I get to be part of a new fandom, and it's so cool. I know usually hobby tourists are seen as like a negative thing. You know, like, oh, they're not really part of the fandom. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I get to peek into your fandom, think like, hey, that's cool. And I wouldn't mind taking a look at like Bakugan in the future, because it did seem cool, like the marble thing. You know, it's like they're little marbles that turn into little characters. I love toys. I think they're so cool. I want to make toys myself. You know, I don't know if you've seen, I do have a website and I sell these little coins. There's like a little coin game I made, but I also have print and play. I have a print and play board game. You know, so if any of you guys want, you guys could download a board game for free. You know, that's also on my website. Story. Their character designs are worse than the first reboot, and VAs are concerning, and the Bakugan look basic, no flair. Even the first reboot. Oh, really? I did not know this. That's a bummer. That is actually like really lame. That's such a bummer though. Like when you're like, oh yeah, nice, they're gonna redo my show, and then you see it like, oh, they just made it like a watered down version of my show. Yeah, I get that. I feel like that's what happened with Teen Titans. I don't know if you guys watched Teen Titans before. So like they had Teen Titans, right? The animated series, which was very heavily inspired by what was it, like anime. You could tell when they made Teen Titans, like, oh, like it's very anime. And then when they finished it, I think it was only like season 5. And then later when they were like, oh, we'll do like a reboot, and they made it go, it was very different. So original fans did not like it. They were like, oh my god, this is garbage. And it was like, well, yeah, because it's not the same. I think that's like kind of like, I get what you mean, where you're expecting one thing, like, oh, it's an upgrade, but then it's like, oh, this is not even close. The battle flair was also lost, leaning into much more friendship is magic. Oh, see, the thing with friendship is magic, I think it really, I've only seen it done well, I think once. You know, I think the only time I was like, okay, friendship is magic, where I actually felt cool, the only time I was like, okay, they did a good job on this, was Black Clover. I don't know if you know what that one is. Black Clover, an anime. Wait, I'm like looking at this. This is off. There we go. MLP is peak. Which one's that? MLP. I don't know which one MLP is. I might know the name, but I don't know the abbreviation. What is that one? Please enlighten me. I'm not sure about Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is all right. Like, it's okay. It has its moments. It has its moments. I feel that's like you know what I mean? My Little Pony. Oh, My Little. Wait. Oh, wait. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about like the 80s? My Little Pony? Is that the one you're talking about? Or are you talking about Friendship is Magic? Which one are you talking about? Because I've seen them both. I have seen them. You know, I think Friendship is Magic, if I remember, that one's the better one. Gen 5. I don't talk about Gen 5. We don't talk. Wait, which one's that? Which one's Gen 5? Wait, I gotta look this up. Hold up. Gen 5. My Little Pony. Which one is that? Oh, this is the... Which one is this? This is Generations, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Friendship is Magic. I do remember that one. That one's a good one. I did like that one. I remember watching it. Who did I watch it with? I don't remember because I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have like 15 nieces and nephews. So I watched a lot of, like, I love cartoons off the bat, you know, like even with or without them. But I remember watching different shows with different people, you know, and I think that adds to it, like who you watched it with. So I do remember watching. Wait. Gen 5 doesn't exist, trust. No, I've seen it. I've seen that one. I've seen Generations. I did see it. I do know what you mean. The characters are not as interesting. They are a little bland. The Friendship is Magic is the better one. Man, I feel like I'm like looking at this, it looks off. You know what I mean? This looks off to me. The angle. Because, oh, you know what it is? You wouldn't be able to see. I feel like, hold up. Because it's looking like this. It's just the whole angle is going to be really weird. Whatever. I'm like looking at this. It's kind of like this. That's why I'm like struggling with the chair. Believe it or not, I'm struggling with the chair. I'm like, look at the chair. I was like, there's something off with this chair. I was like, well, that's why I don't like drawing, what was it? Mechanical things. I like drawing organic stuff. Nothing wrong with drawing hard surface stuff. Just like when I think about it, I don't like it as much. You know, it reminds me of college. I remember doing drafting. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like architecture. So I did a little bit of architecture in college, and I did not care for it. Even if the teacher said I would be a good architect. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I was like, he said, oh, you have a good eye for this. I'm like, nah, I don't like it though. And he's like, oh, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I don't care for this. Which I feel like it's kind of, I felt bad saying it. Shading will fix it though, cause right now it's, no, I know. No, right now I'm still getting the line work of where things go. You know what I mean, Starry? Really? It's mandatory. Interesting. What kind of school do you go to then that it's mandatory? That sounds like so random. You know, like that sounds like a random thing to have mandatory. I don't know, like when I thought about it, I was like, mandatory architect, like drafting? That's weird. About here. There we go. That's about it. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think this is it. We could probably start doing line work now. Now looking at it, I think it's okay. It's okay. Let's hide this. Let's do. I can't do like too long of a stream today. I'll only do an hour just because I have some errands to run. So it'll be like 30 more minutes, you know? Yeah, and my entire quarter semester is focused on drafting. Really? That's so interesting. That is interesting that your school has that as a mandatory. I said I don't even need to lighten it. All right, let's start. Just so, like, I know you're not supposed to start with the eyes. I usually do though. You're not supposed to though in art. You know, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. There's like a trick that I like. Check this out. So you grab like a color, a different color. Let's do like this color. It's fine. Nope, not what I meant. You do this. You do that, see? And now we have a different layer I could go over. See, this is like a fun thing in art. I like this one. No, I'm gonna do the G pen. Wait, G pen or real G pen? Which one do I like more? Oh, you know what? I'll do the regular G pen, then I'll go with the real G pen to go over the outline. I like the outline with like a little more rigidity. Like, yeah, but most of us hate the subject. Personally, I aced it, but I wouldn't say I wasn't the best, just a slightly above passing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I remember in college doing it, and I did fine. I had an A in the class, but I remember the teacher, he was like, oh, are you going to continue doing drafting, going into like architecture and stuff like that? I'm like, no, I don't really like it. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm into 3D animation and stuff like that. And he was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. I thought that was funny. That's actually happened more than once too. I also had it in a fine arts class. With like we did what's it called? We did like Vine charcoal paint like drawings. I remember the teacher was not very happy when I told him I wanted to do 3D animation. And he was like, man, really? Like, he was so disappointed because like he was a fine arts teacher, obviously. He painted beautifully. I remember he had a piece he was working on, and it was so nice. And I remember someone in class asked him, and it was like, oh, what's this? He's like, oh, it's a commission for I think it was a business. It was like a commission for a business. And they asked, oh, how much are you charging? And he was like, oh, this piece was like 5,000, I think. That was like the cool thing about the college I went to. All the teachers there were working artists. So like they were working in the industry. Let's see. We even did drafting contests. My best bro even said he wanted to be an architect. Oh, that's cool. He regularly practiced in competitions, even got champion. That's awesome. That's so cool. I did a few like not like contests. I did like a few like little things, you know what I mean? Like art shows and stuff like that, especially when I was younger. But I didn't do any contests though. It's one of those things. I was very down on my art, being honest, when I was younger. I was very like negative. I used to like throw away my art. My sister was always the one that would keep my art though, which is kind of funny. You know, when I think about it, like now I'm like, I'm doing this like every day. But when I was young, I was very, like I said, I was very against my art. Also, I drew differently. I did, I always liked cartoonists, like art like this. Right now I'm doing like a cartoony art, which is like stylized, hyper stylized. But when I was younger, I was very more into realism, you know? I was into like realistic stuff. Here, I'll show you. I'll do like an example, I guess. Right, we'll do like this or something. So we do like I was more into like hyper realism. So like I don't know, like the shading was very different. Everything was very different. It was very like, it would take longer also, everything. When you do the realism and stuff. And I remember doing like bus. I don't know if you know what a bus are. So like half a person or something. But I remember doing that when I was younger, all of those things where you go into like more of like a realistic stuff. But I like the cartooning stuff. I like drawing cartoons. They're more fun. That's so cute. She's like, my brother, I made an art piece for his birthday and he kept it in display ever since. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, like she still has my pieces. I remember not that long ago, she showed me one. She was like, look, I still have your, it was like a bust. I think I did like I think that's why I brought up the bust, because it was like a torso of a man, you know, and she thought it was so cool that I did that, but I threw it away. But she's like, no, why would you throw this away? It's good to have people like that. Like, not saying like my parents were very negative about me doing art, but they were definitely not supportive about it either. You know, they were very much like the type of parents like, oh, that's like a waste of time, or you're just like doing stuff. You know what I mean? You're not like actually, it's more like a hobby. They never saw it as like an actual possible career or anything. There we go. Wait, there we go. I feel like, well, anything realistic, if you really think of anything could be a career. There's literally a lady that sells dog excrement, and that's like what her living, and which is hilarious. So it's one of those things, like, realistic, if you package it correctly, you could do anything. You know, that's the world we live in. Like, obviously there's levels of how well you could live off doing certain things. Some things are easier to live off of than others. Actually, no, this is like, yeah, especially with AI and this question. Being an employed artist is hard. Yeah, well, okay, so the thing is, I've actually had this argument before about AI, right? So realistically, art as a job, like there's different kinds of art, okay? So a lot of work, I think what AI is actually going to remove is that very corporate level art. You know what I mean? That art, like you see, like graphic designers. I feel like AI will definitely reduce graphic designers. If I'm being honest, that one is for sure. Artists, like painting artists and stuff like that, no. Those kind of artists, people still appreciate that kind of art. You know? And I think it really depends on the type of art you do. You know? But if you're doing like, oh, I'm doing like logos, I'm doing graphic design, stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like AI, a lot of those people, because they don't care. Companies don't care. They're like, whatever. I just need a design. You know, I just need a design. I don't care who makes it. They don't care if an AI machine makes it. But if you're talking about like a painting or a commission, stuff like that, most people who actually care about the art, they'll actually look for an artist. You know, I know like some people, like you see like kids, mainly a lot of like kids, teenagers or whatever, they'll use AI for like their what's it called, profile pics or whatever. Those people are not gonna buy a commission from an artist. You got to be honest, you know, because the people are like, no, but look at all these people. Those people were never gonna buy your art. I'm telling you right now, they were not gonna buy your art. You know, the people who are gonna buy art, a commission, they're appreciate the art. That's the only reason they want the commission. Right, there we go. No, they like the struggle of people. We're too poor for art commission, especially in this economy. No, but like the thing is, it is a luxury though. You know, art is a luxury. You know what I mean, Story? Art is a luxury. 100%. It's always been a luxury. It's never been a necessity. When the economy is good, that's when people pursue art more. This is how it works. You know, it is one of those things. It is one of those things. It's always been what's it called? I'm trying to look for the word. Not like yes, a luxury, but I'm saying it's always been one of those things, like an extra, an entertainment thing. Entertainment's another one. Entertainment does well when people are happy, when people have money to spend. You can't expect people to go pay a commission, right? To get an art commission when they're having like struggles to pay their rent. They're like, oh man, do I have enough money for my rent today? Will I have enough for groceries? Yeah, exactly. You get what I mean. In the Renaissance, these people, they like would get paintings and stuff because they wanted to flaunt that they had money. Like, ooh, I have money. I'm going to sponsor this artist. That's what a patron is. That's where Patreon comes from. They're like, oh, I will be his patron and pay for this artist, and they'll make me a painting every once in a while. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, check it out. Like, oh, I don't know, Da Vinci. I pay Da Vinci, and like he gives me a painting once a year, and then the rest of the time he does whatever he wants. That's what a patron is. And that's what it is. It's like, not everyone can be an artist. Not everyone can make money just from painting or whatever. That's why a lot of things you see these YouTubers or whatever, they have to present it as as an entertainer. You know, they're entertainers in a part of it. Like, yes, I would love it if this was my job. If this was my job, just doodling every day, that'd be wonderful. But it had to be realistic. It is a lot of hard work. That's not, I would love it. I'd be super happy. But I can't be like, oh, this is gonna be my job. This is like, no. I have to do other things too. Like, for example, there's one YouTuber. I love this guy. I think he's so good, Jazza. I don't know if you've seen him, Starry. So Jazza, I love his art. I do. I think it's so wonderful. But he's not a business person. You know, I've seen it recently. He's been doing a lot more things lately, because I know he said, like, I've seen his blogs and stuff, that he's mentioned that their YouTube channel is making enough money. And I was like, yeah, of course not. YouTube doesn't make that much money. Like, YouTube doesn't pay that much. Gotta balance hobby with jobs. It makes life. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a balance. But I was saying, like, for example, with Jazza, for example, right? Jazza is a wonderful artist. He has multiple people working for him. You know, he has a small art studio where they make videos. They make wonderful videos. They started making product recently, like relatively recently. For the amount of years that he's had his channel, he should have been making stuff a long time ago. He should have made a brand. Hey, Flopix. No, I know. I'm same Flopix. I've been super busy. This whole week I've been busy. If you haven't noticed, I didn't even make that short about the Pokemon Champions, because I'm not going to be playing Pokemon Champions on Friday or tomorrow. Just because I realized tomorrow I think I'm actually going to be busy, so I'll probably be canceling the gaming stream tomorrow. You know? Just because I have things with family. So I think I'll be canceling the gaming one tomorrow. I'm actually not even sure I could do the today one. You know, I'm like thinking about it right now. Like this whole week, I've been super busy. I'm pretty sure next week will be a lot better though. Like busy time, like busy wise. Nope, there we go. But no, I was mentioning before starting, right? So the thing is with this guy, with Jazza, right? He has like a studio. He has like a lot going on. He has all this stuff. And now, hey, Salty, welcome in. But I was going to say, and now the thing is, now he's realizing YouTube isn't paying him as much because of advertisement. Advertisement's one of those things that not everybody, you know, you need money to pay for advertisement. But if people don't have money or whatever, then they're not as interested. in advertising. So YouTube is getting less money. They're getting less money, so they don't pay as well. So that's like one of these issues. That's why I've mentioned before with Ghost, like Mr. Ghost. He's like, well, how are you supposed to be a full-time YouTuber because I mentioned, if you have like 50K, you could be a full-time YouTuber. And he was like, well, how do you do that? Well, it's not, YouTube doesn't pay as much. What the thing is, it's everything else: sponsorships, affiliate links, having products, like your own products, stuff like that. It's everything. When you have about 50K is around the amount where you could actually start living off of it. Yes, he is. Yeah, Ghost is underage. But Ghost has asked me about YouTube stuff. Because like, I work in marketing. So I'm knowledgeable about the business side of it. I am familiar with the business part of how YouTube works, how they make money, and etc. And how YouTubers make money. Because they don't make money from they do make money, but they don't make as much money as people think from the actual videos. Because I know Mr. Ghost was saying, oh, he got 23 or 24 cents. I think he got 24 cents, right? He got 24 cents from his videos. And I was like, hey, cool, very nice. And he was like, well, but how are you supposed to live off of this? Like if you got to the number I gave him, 50K. And I was like, well, the thing is, advertisers start saying, hey, will you bring this up in your video? You can put an affiliate link where for every click you get blank money, stuff like that. So it adds up. All that stuff adds up. That's why I was like, you need about 50K to actually live off of. There we go. YouTube is such a double-edged job, especially when you're big. No, I know. That's so that's the thing, Starry. With for example, like I said, Jazza. I'm using Jazza again as an example. He got big enough that he was able to hire people. But now that YouTube is paying less, now he's in that spot where I have to pay my employees. You know what I mean? So that's a huge thing was, I had a lot of money because YouTube was paying really well, but now the advertising has gone down. YouTube isn't paying as well. So now he's looking for other ways to make money. That's why he's like, I'm making a book. I'm making, he just recently released a book. And then now I think he's making another one. He's a how-to draw book. And I was like, cool, that's cool. But he should have been doing this stuff forever ago. It's one of those things a lot of people don't realize the business part of this. You need it from the beginning, all this stuff going on, if you want this to be a business. That's why, for me, I would love it. I would love it if this was my full-time job. I've mentioned it many times. But what I really want to do is I want to make games. I want to be a full-time game dev. That's what I want to do, which hopefully I can this year. Just in case of crisis. Yeah, no, you need. Okay, so there's a thing in business, right? I'll give you I know it's kind of funny that I'm talking about business while I'm drawing. So there's a thing you need. There's a thing in business you need. Most business, most successful businesses will have 7 different ways of getting money. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 different things that bring in money. So for example, you're YouTube, they give you money from the ads, right? Just the views. Then affiliate links. Then you have sponsorships, right? And then you need more things. You need more things for merchandise. I don't know, maybe commissions. I'm saying if you're being an artist, right? Commissions. Then you would probably want products, actual products, his own products, right? And then I would probably from there, maybe something else. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying this is off the top of my head. You need 7 different things because as soon as one of these things, let's use this one. Number 1, the views are not paying. So you still need the other 6 to catch up. That's how it works. That's how these larger companies, how they make money. Because a lot of people why is this company doing so well? Because they don't make money from one thing. They make money from a bunch of different things. Usually the number though, they say is 7. If you can have 7 different incomes, like things that are coming in, then you're good. Your business is solid. Because as soon as one goes down, then the other one adjusts itself. But that's the issue with this guy, you know, with Jazza. I feel like because the big money that he was getting was from YouTube views, you know, and all of those things have gone down, is where I see is like, oh, I feel like I've seen, because I watch his vlogs, you could tell he's been a little like stressed out. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because you have not yourself, it's you, your wife, your 2 kids, and then a bunch of employees. He has a bunch of employees that work for him, and that's stressful because obviously it I think even some of his employees ended up having to be part-time just because he couldn't pay them. You know, he wasn't able to pay them full-time, and he was like, oh my god, I'm sorry guys, I have to bump you to part-time employees. So he can't pay them the full amount that they, like he wish he could. Like there's a lot to it. You know, there's a lot to it. Having a business is a lot. And I think that's one of those things, a lot of people, like these YouTubers, they'll look at it like, oh, you know, YouTube's like such a cool business. It's like, it's got its stress. It is like, it's got like its things to it. For example, remember I mentioned yesterday, I was literally mentioning it yesterday, that someone asked me, like 2 different people have asked me about joining their incubator, you know, and you think about it, well, why would they want that? Because they want that extra income from other spots. You know, you're like, oh, this person has over 1 million views, and they get another person to join in on their team, you know, they get in these other people to join on their team. They're like, oh, okay, now I could get a little money from here, a little money from there. You know, I get some money from, you know, this guy, get a little money from this guy. Even if my views are low, maybe theirs are higher. Oh, hold up. The Wacom got all crazy. I'm gonna be like wrapping it up in like 7 minutes. I said I do have some things to do. It is kind of funny doing like a business talk while I'm doodling. Wait, let's see. Is it right here? Yeah. Nope. There we go. But yeah, like YouTube is a business. It has a lot of stuff going. You know, there's like a lot of stuff. It's not as simple as people think it is. It's fun, very informative. Yeah, thank you. Well, because I've mentioned it before. I've worked in advertising for, wow, man, like I've worked in it. How long have I worked in it now? If I really think about it. Wait, I got, well, like 13, 14 years. I think I'm getting to 14 years. So like more than 13 and a half years working in advertisement. So that's why I'm knowledgeable about that world of how it works. Not like particularly YouTube, obviously not YouTube. I don't know. I'm not like in that. You know, I work in for a magazine, like a paper magazine. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I've worked in that field for a long time, so I understand how that works. I understand you need a lot of multiple incomes to coming in and stuff like that. So that's why like when Mr. Ghost have asked me things, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. For like YouTube, I understand it. Like for example, one of the things that kills my channel, for example, like my channel, you're probably like, oh, why don't I have more people? Well, my character, I love my character. I love Oni Boi, right? But this little dude right here, he doesn't do me any favors. He doesn't do me any favors because first of all, he doesn't move around. That is a huge thing. He doesn't move around. Another thing right now, YouTube, if you didn't know this, YouTube is they don't really like, they want people. They want physical people. I just realized something. I want to move this down. Hold on. Where do I want to move this? I just realized my hand is blocking Oni Boi. Right here? Let's see. No, still blocking Oni Boi. Hold up. I'm trying to move my hand underneath me. There we go. What about now? There we go. I'm underneath him. There we go. That's what I wanted. But no, like, so my little guy, Oni Boi, it doesn't help me because he doesn't move, first of all. So YouTube looks at it as like, oh, this is probably AI. And they don't want AI. If you realize YouTube is not as likely to share AI stuff. Right now, they really want people. They want like actual people because of advertisers. You know, advertisers don't want AI because they look at it like, okay, people don't like AI right now. So we don't want to be associated with AI. That's what happens. Exactly. They don't pay AI. So they don't push this stuff. Like my channel, they look at my channel, they're like, oh, that's probably AI. If I showed my face, I would probably do a lot better. You know, if I showed my actual face, like me as a human, I would probably do a lot better. The PNG tubers, they right now they're doing really poorly. VTubers also are struggling a little bit, but they get a little better. But like PNG tubers do really poorly though. If you look at people who are very popular and you ask them, most of them will tell you their numbers drop like crazy. You know, they dropped a lot. And like they've been staying at their numbers, or like they don't get much sharing. YouTube isn't really sharing their stuff. They're not getting new viewers. That's the issue. That's just like how it works though. I get it in the point of view of YouTube, because like, okay, advertisers, they don't want anything AI related, you know? So what do we do? Then we don't share the AI stuff. Yeah, like if people see AI stuff, they'll watch it organically or whatever, you know, but they're not like sharing it on their channel, on their platform. Because the way it works, I don't know if you actually know how YouTube shares stuff. Dang, that's not good. It's good that YouTube is fighting against AI, but it makes, I know, but that's how it works. Okay, so look, I'll explain to a little bit before like I wrap it up. So the way it works, so let's say here's my video, right? Here's my video. You throw the video into like a pool, right? Here's like a pool of people. So these are the people watch it. Let's say 60% of these people watch what I threw, right? Then they say, oh, okay, let's share it to this bigger pool. This is like a bigger pool. This is like 10 times this pool, 10 times. If 60% of the people watch my stuff, then they send it to another group, and they keep sending it to a bigger and bigger group every time. That's how it works. But if a video, let's say I put a video and only like, I don't know, 40% of the people watch my video, then YouTube is like, okay, fine, I don't need to share it anymore. That's how it works. That's how it works. It really goes like that. And the thing with AI, it's like when they see these smaller channels, right? These smaller channels, until you get to like about, I think it's like 100K, you get to like 100K subs. 100K subs is when somebody at YouTube, like an actual real life person, right? A real life person, they look at your channel, they're like, hey, this person does this. And then they put let's say they put like a stamp. Like, okay, this is art. This is the art stamp. They put it on. Now, automatically, anything you make will be in the art category. And so right now, my channel has no category. Until I get to 100K, that's when YouTube employee will be like, oh, this is an art channel. Boom. Now I continue on. But it is tough. It's tough. And So same thing with the 100K. Let's say I get to 100K and I'm an AI channel. They'll look at the AI trash. They'll put the AI stamp on it. So right now, the only thing that YouTube looks at me is like an AI algorithm thinking I'm AI. They're like, oh, this is probably AI. I'm probably not going to share it as many people. Which that's why I like it when you guys, like liking videos, putting the little hearts or whatever, sharing it. That stuff really does help when it's smaller. When you're a smaller channel, that seriously helps a lot. It's not until you get to like the upper numbers is when YouTube starts sharing it. But either way, I gotta wrap it up because I have some stuff to do. It's a really tough goal to reach, so I forced to label as AI until then. Yeah, no, like pretty much. For the most part, right now, it looks at me as an AI because of my character. Like I look at it, my character doesn't move. You really look at my guy, he doesn't move much. I have this, I have my hand, like this moves around a bit, right? But if you look at most channels, right? This actually happened in this year, by the way, if you're curious, in 2026. If you look at any channel that really started trying to like push it in like after, like, before 2026 is when they would have gotten popular if they did. Now 2026 is a lot harder because of the AI stuff. They're like anti-AI. But no, either way, I gotta wrap it up. Thank you so much, Starry, for this wonderful chat. I know some people don't like it. I think they think it's boring or whatever, but I think it's fun talking about a little bit about business, about art, but different things. Thank you so much, Flopix, for poking in briefly. Salty Pretzel also poked in a little bit. Who else? Blue Shell was also here briefly. Thank you guys so much for hanging out as long as you did. Hope to see you all very soon. See you next time. Goodbye.